So good morning, everyone. Today's Thursday, October 10th, 2019. The time is 9:01 a.m. We are calling this meeting to order. This is the weekly meeting with our Community Development Organization, and we'll proceed to the pledge, and I'm going to ask Zach to lead us.
Please stand. Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, any conflicts of interest? Hearing none, we'll move on, and let's see, do we have any changes to the agenda? Pat, was there?
I was going to request that there be an executive session at the end of the meeting just to go over a few litigation matters.
Okay.
So it would be under
1F.
1F.
1F, okay.
And it shouldn't take any more than 15 minutes, even though there's 4 matters I want to discuss.
Okay,
They
fine.
should all be pretty quick.
Do you want a motion?
Yeah.
I move that we amend the agenda to add an executive session at the end.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye.
And just as, I just wanted to mention that I don't anticipate any action items to be needed after this. If there are, we'll put them on a properly noticed public hearing agenda,
Okay.
Understood.
Perfect.
or public meeting agenda.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the first item, therefore, is our public hearing, and there is a potential action required, and that's item A under number 5, and it's case number ZON 19-0006, Spokane Roofing Company LLC, to complete a zone change from agricultural to light industrial on 16.747 acre parcel of land. Ben, take it away.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ben Tarbutton, Kootenai County for the record. As Commissioner Philios said, we are here to discuss a zone change for Spokane Roofing Company. It's a 16.7 acre parcel of land. It's currently zoned agricultural. The request is to change it to light industrial zone. The parcel is located off of Beck Road, near the State Line Speedway. As you can see, the surrounding zoning to the south is light industrial, to the southwest is commercial with a development agreement, to the north is mining with the development agreement, and then to the northwest is light industrial as well. There's the speedway there. The light industrial zoning uses are suitable for manufacturing, processing of a non-nuisance character. The purpose, of course, is to encourage development that is clean, free, dust and noise. The comprehensive plan is border, in which the intent for border is to promote annexation and therefore encourage limited development. The area of city impact for this parcel is within the shared tier of the coordinated ACI with Rathdrum, Post Falls, and Hayden. All of the agencies were given, or the cities were given an opportunity to comment. Hayden and Rathdrum did not have any comment. Post Falls did not have any objections, only that at future time for development they would encourage protection of the aquifer and would like to see it connected to sewer, but they didn't have any objections to the zone change itself. The location of the parcel, it's not quite an updated photo. As you will recall, there is a site to the south here which is light industrial and also a mini storage facility. And then, of course, the speedway here. Some general photos of the site. Had been used in the past as agricultural use, but has kind of moved on from that, and the applicant is looking for a different classification. The agencies did give were given the opportunity to comment. Panhandle Health District, Post Falls Highway District had no issues. Kootenai Fire and Rescue, they approved the request. Again, Rathdrum and Hayden had no comment, in the city of Post Falls were in support with just some aquifer protection in mind. During the public comment period, we received one comment that was in neutral. The required findings for a zone change are as follows.
I should point out, it should say denial would have adverse effect on use. In other words.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pat.
Sorry.
The HE recommendation came back as an approval. They found it was consistent with the comprehensive plan designation of border, compatible with the zoning in the adjacent area and vicinity, and then also consistent with the ACI requirements. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Ben?
Yes. When the use comes into effect, is that when Panhandle Health gets involved? So if they decide they're going to put a building there, then Panhandle Health will say, hey, these are my requirements for this type of use?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be entirely dependent on what the proposed use will be. At this time, the applicant doesn't have a use in mind, so whether they're intending to maybe sell it or still work on some ideas, they haven't let us know that information. Unfortunately, I don't think the applicant is actually here, so the public hearing, I think, is going to be rather quick. But in the past of the HE hearing, they expressed as much that they didn't have any proposal in mind.
Can you go, I'm sorry, Bill, do you have any questions? No. Ben, can you go back to the previous slide that showed the conditions of approval? And the one right, okay, that's fine. No adverse effect on value, character, or use of the property. It's interesting that they're citing value. We don't typically see that.
Now, typically, an upzone like this would at least potentially have an enhancement of the value of the property. When, the times when it would have an adverse effect potentially would be when you have what's called a down zone, which is when you
Increase, doesn't it?
you decrease the intensity of the use allowed in the zone. And we do try to avoid that whenever possible. In fact, that's one of the things we incorporated into the proposed comp plan amendment, which will be before you soon.
Okay. Fair enough. Anything else? Okay. Seeing as there's no one here to testify, I presume, no opposition, no reason to rebut, because there's nothing to rebut. So I guess I'll entertain a motion that we close public testimony and enter into deliberations.
I move that we end public testimony and enter into deliberations.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. Thoughts? Motion? Whatever.
Seems reasonable.
I agree. Bill?
All right, I
Okay.
move that we approve case number ZON 19-0006 for Spokane Roofing Company to complete a zone change.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. Motion carried. Case number ZON 19-0006 is approved. Thank you. So moving on to item number 6, deliberations and a potential action item. That would be case number MSP 19-0005, Walking Horse Estates, a request by Walking Horse Partners LLC for preliminary approval of a 10-lot major subdivision known as Walking Horse Estates. Ben, is this also yours?
It is.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. So, as again Commissioner Philios introduced, this is a request by Walking Horse LLC for a 10-lot major subdivision on 50 acres in the rural zone. The subject site is located in the northeast corner of the county, out near Farragut State Park. The applicant currently owns a 211-acre parcel here outlined in black, they recently exercised an exempt land division to create this 50-acre parcel. And that's where the subject subdivision is on. The assessor parcel information just hasn't been updated yet to reflect the mapping, just to give you an idea. So here is Highway 54 down here to the south, and then Howard Road, Walking Horse Lane comes in, and then it kind of extends to the subdivision here, just to give you some background. Again, 10 lots on 50 acres in the rural zone. The applicant is requesting or is planning on extending Walking Horse Lane, which is a public road maintained by Lakes Highway District. Individual septic and drain fields are proposed, as well as individual wells. Again, here's just a brief overview of the site. Again, here is Walking Horse Lane as it currently extends to, and then they would, of course, extend up to the north. Through the agency review, we didn't have any objections with the building division. Panhandle Health District approved with their normal conditions. Idaho Department of Water Resources did not have any objection, only just some comments for future well use. Didn't receive any comments from Kootenai EMS or solid waste. Timberlake Fire District did approve the request. They had some conditions and some recommendations. They recommended that a water service be installed. However, because the proposed sites are 5 acres or larger, they couldn't make it a requirement. Lakes Highway District had approved the request again with conditions that the applicant is willing to comply with, and will work with Lakes Highway District in order to do so. No comments from the Sheriff's Department. Department of Fish and Game had comments with regards to just normal residential rural development. And the applicant, I believe, is willing to incorporate those into their CCNRs or put them on the face of plat, but I think they're going to add them as part of their CCNRs. Lakeland School District did not provide any comment. During the public comment period, we did receive 18 comments. 17 of those were in opposition. The primary theme, I guess, of most of the public was concerns of traffic. As we go back to the overview here, Walking Horse Lane here extends through this existing subdivision, Silverleaf Ranch. A majority of the opposition was part of the subdivision, which they felt that, of course, with a new development here, it would increase the traffic through the public road, which it would, no question about that. But it is a public road, and I think their concerns were they had more ownership of the road themselves, and they felt it was more of their road rather than actual public right-of-way. The Highway District has responded, of course. They are in support of the request. So staff and also the hearing examiner did not see any issues with that particular item of opposition. The opposition also brought up fire protection. As I mentioned earlier, the Timberlake Fire District did make a recommendation for a public water system, but not a requirement of one. The opposition, of course, felt that if more houses are placed back here, that's going to increase the risk of fire danger. The applicants, of course, will be required to submit a wildfire mitigation plan to handle the forested area and through the course of the development. Furthermore, I actually did talk to Brandon Hermanant from Timberlake Fire District, just for my own benefit, asking how, of course, they would provide service to the newly constructed residences. And they said they would truck their own water in. They have the ability, I believe, to hold 7,000 gallons. And he said typically most structure fires will require about 1,000 gallons. But it's possible that, it may take more. One of the concerns was there is a fire hydrant that is part of a water system of Silverleaf Ranch. The water would be pulled from from the fire district in case there was a fire in this area here. And again, from Brandon's perspective, is that would be unlikely that they would ever pull or connect to the hydrant to use water, but if they needed to, they would connect to the system and pull water. But again, unlikely.
So Silver Lake Ranch, is that on individual wells or a community system?
It's on a community system, yes.
Okay, okay. The services just those, okay, good, thank you.
And let's see, the other bit of opposition included home values, like their home values would go down. They believed there was, during the public hearing, the applicants and some of their representatives, the home builder, was Timber Ridge, and they indicated they're intending to create $450,000 to $800,000 home ranges. So it didn't seem that it was going to have a negative effect on the values of their homes, and so staff and also the hearing examiner did not see any issues with the proposal. Again, the HE did recommend for approval. They felt that the agency's requirements will have been or will be addressed, compatible with the surrounding area, and also compatible with the comprehensive plan designation. And I would be available for any questions should you have any.
The fish and game suggestions, is that normal? They seemed excessive, but is that just typical what they?
It is typical for this area and areas like it that are heavily forested that experience wildlife, a lot of traffic from wildlife, bears, elk, moose, occasional mountain lions, and so on. The idea, of course, is to help facilitate, be responsible growth in developing the property and also keeping in mind the existing patterns of wildlife. Not to create a nuisance, mine your garbage, barbecues and so on.
Yeah, I read through them. So this is just for my discussion point, not really wholly related to this development, but when you are developing forest land, wouldn't there be less chance of fire? Because now you're clearing parts of your property, and with our already requirements of the fire smart and all that kind of stuff, I mean, yeah, you're moving people in there, but to me, it's more lightning, maybe camping in that area I think that'd be more of a risk than actually having development there.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that, of course, the applicants will be, again, providing a wildfire mitigation plan.
Yeah.
So they're going to, again, plan out for these kind of things. I think the concern is more of the addition of people. And sometimes people cannot necessarily, or aren't always responsible.
As careful as
as
they
careful.
should
It could, there's also structure fires that potentially, of no fault of anybody in specific, just accidents happen. And so I think that's the primary concern.
Yeah, I'd just add, because I've experienced the emergency management side as well, I think it really depends on how it's done. If you create, a defensible space as recommended by the appropriate officials, I think it does reduce the risk of wildfire in those areas. But we just may have to make sure that it is done properly, and the wildfire mitigation plan will help implement that in cases of subdivisions. The other thing I wanted to mention, I noticed the hearing examiner's recommendation had a recommended condition requiring the language from Fish and that was recommended by Fish and Game, and I just pointed out historically, the board can certainly go along with that, but historically the board has simply encouraged applicants to implement those recommendations as opposed to requiring.
Okay, but is the applicant okay with that condition?
I believe so.
Right, yeah, in Ben's presentation, he said that they were. I just wanted to note the historical practice of past boards
Okay.
for the board, this board's information.
Okay. Well, I'm willing to look at it one-on-one, and if they're willing to agree to all that, then that's fine. I mean, you know, do not feed the bears. I mean, that's pretty important, you know. But common
sometimes-
sense isn't
right,
common.
Exactly. Sometimes people
Yeah.
don't realize when they're feeding the bears.
Right,
Sure.
right. Yes, well, yeah, sunflower seeds in the summer, I mean, I wouldn't know that if you'd be feeding the bears. So, anyway, I'm fine with
Any other questions for Ben? Okay.
Good job, as usual.
I don't hear any public comment. Did you wish to comment?
Can I? I thought this
A- Absolutely.
Oh.
it. It's
Oh,
deliberation.
no, it's a
I
deliberation,
don't
forgive me.
think so. But thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay then, so since this is a deliberation, I guess we don't need a motion to enter. We already essentially started with your question. Any other comments?
No, I'm good with it, as proposed.
Looks well planned out for the area that it's in, and it looks like I won't say perfect, but a very well thought out plan.
And it's interesting, when I looked at one of the comments that addressed, or I think maybe you did, Ben, the issue of value, seeing how Timber Lake's prices have gone up, and people are certainly willing to pay, I think it's more upside than downside risk, frankly. But anyway, that's just the point that I happen to be familiar with. In any case, I don't have an issue with it either. I think it's entirely appropriate, and I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve case number MSP 19-0005, the Walking Horse Estates subdivision.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried for MSP 19-0005. It is approved. So that concludes our deliberations. And I guess the next item is signings. And we do have some action items. The first signing is case number VAR 19-0005. And it's a request by Tim Teruscio for a 19-foot variance to the 25-foot front yard setback required for construction of a residence on 0.35 acres, parcel in the restricted residential zone. And let's see, the board held a public hearing on September 19th and denied the request. So is there a motion to execute the order of decision?
I move that we execute the order of decision for case number VAR 19-0005.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. Signing. Okay. And that was our one and only signing. That was item 7 on our agenda. Moving on to item 8, business, community development updates. We have a single item, certified rating system, also known as CRS, verification document for signature. This document is prepared and signed on an annual basis to support the CRS flood guidelines. So this is an action item.
Mr. Chairman, if you saw in your electronic file, the staff does a fairly extensive review to make sure that we comply with the requirements.
Right.
It's ready for your signature. As a separate review, you will recall the planning commission wants to have a discussion about whether this is a useful program, but at the moment we're involved, we need to continue, and this merely asks for your signature to certify that we've done the right thing.
Okay. Questions?
Nope.
Motion?
I move that we encourage, instruct, allow, what?
Authorize.
Authorize, thank you.
Sign?
Yeah, authorize the chairman to sign the certified rating system verification document.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. Authorizing the CRS verification.
This is for Chris.
And while you're signing, I'll just brag for a moment. The 4 staff that worked on this are all certified floodplain managers. That's a recent occurrence. When I first started working here 6 years ago, we had no certified staff, now we have 4.
Very
Well,
good.
Okay, then.
Will there be a potluck to celebrate?
Of sorts.
Yeah, you guys have enough food down there in a while.
Are we all set then? Okay, so that concludes the business segment of our community development update. And we do have a request for an executive session. So is there a motion to enter?
I move that we enter into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 74-2061F.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. Entering into executive session with Deputy Civil Prosecuting Attorney Pat Braden.
Yeah, I'd like you to stay.
And also joining us, Director Callahan.
Do you want any of this?
No, I don't need it. Sorry, Cal.
You're good.
I just need to run to my office and grab my phone.